Coming up on the bucket list tonight, we've got an exclusive show with the winner of the Bake Off 2015, Nadiya Hussain, who is back in Leeds cooking up a storm at the Merrion Centre. Good evening, you're watching The Bucket List with me, Beth Krista Wilson, and what a show we've got for you tonight. We've got the exclusive look at Nadiya Hussain, the winner of the British Bake Off this year. She returned to Leeds yesterday and was here at the Merrion Centre cooking up a storm, and I got to help her with some of her recipes. Hello everyone, there's a good crowd. How are you doing? My name's Beth, I'm from Made in Leeds, but this lady doesn't really need an introduction. I'm guessing you all know who Nadiya is. Now, her fan group are called the Nadiators. Have we got any in today? Yeah! How are you doing?
Good.
Round of applause for Nadiya. Lovely having you today.
Thank you for having me.
I believe this is your first food demo in Leeds.
In Leeds, yes.
In Leeds.
I've done loads since, but...
Yeah, but this is, you know, throughout the Bake Off, everyone's saying, you know, Nadiya lives in Leeds with her kids and her family. How good is it to be back in front of kind of a home crowd?
Yeah, this is awesome. I haven't been back for 4 weeks, so it's really nice to be home.
So what are we cooking today?
We are doing cardamom and coconut whoopie pies.
Okay, a few fans. And we're doing some biscuits, I believe, as well.
Yeah, we're doing some sun-dried tomato and cheese biscuits. Perfect for Christmas.
Perfect. Okay, what are we going to start with first?
Well, I'm going to get you working.
Okay.
Right. So, to start off, we've got to make the actual whoopie pies. And these are kind of a cross between cake and biscuit. It's up to you. You can decide when you eat them what they are. I think they're cake. So
we need 1 egg.
1 egg, caster sugar, and you whisk till you can whisk no more. Okay. That's your job.
Thank you.
There you go. To a jug, you add some Greek yogurt.
Has anyone made this at home? Has anyone had a go at this? Just one person. How did they turn out? Were they good? As good as Nadiya's? Okay.
So to the yogurt and the milk, you add the melted butter. And this just makes, the yogurt just makes it kind of light, and it gives it a slight tang, which is really nice. To a separate bowl, you add plain flour, a teaspoon of salt, baking powder, and some cardamom. Be careful, don't use too much, because it can...
How much would you add?
I only use half a teaspoon in this.
Okay.
Just because it makes it taste a little bit medicinal if you put too much.
Yep.
So to this, we are going to add our yogurt mix to the flour. Now we can add that to this. Got it? If you don't want to torture anyone, you can do this in a machine, in a mixer. Sorry.
Cheers, thanks for that.
And then you just give that a good mix. Now this is it's a very thick batter, so it's a very kind of, it's strange. So it's a mix between cake and biscuit. Okay. So that's why I don't call it a cake or a biscuit. You call it whatever you want. And what you do with it, once you've mixed it all up, you cover it and leave it in the fridge for half an hour. And I know that's really weird to have a batter that's got baking powder to put into the fridge half an hour, because the baking powder is already activated. Yeah. I don't know why we do it, but it works. Once you take it out of the fridge, you just literally put...
It's really sticky, isn't it?
It's really sticky, and it gets really thick in the fridge. So it's a really weird consistency, but it does work.
Yeah. And do you need them quite far out? Will they spread?
Yeah. So you can do six to a tray, because when you do bake them, depending on how big they are, they will spread out quite a lot. There we go. So you get them on and get them into the oven.
You don't need to be precious about the shape. You can literally just lob them on there.
I think that's the beauty of a whoopie pie, is that they look a little bit haggard, okay. but I think that's just the way they're supposed to look.
It's part of the charm.
Yeah. And then you bake them in the oven at 200 for 13 minutes, no more than that. Any more than that, and they do get brittle. So just 13 minutes. So when they're baked, they will look something like this.
Round of applause.
And we'll get started on the filling.
Okay, so what is the filling? Is this, I see marshmallow fluff.
Right. So unless you've got all the time in the world, which I don't always have, the alternative to this is essentially an Italian meringue. Now, you can make an Italian meringue at home. It's pretty easy. Rowdy. You can make an Italian meringue at home. It's easy. But, you know, sometimes it's easy just to go to the shop and buy a jar. And I've got kids, so I don't have the time sometimes. So you add the butter. There's the butter, we've got the cardamom.
And again, just a sort of half a teaspoon of cardamom
Yeah,
there.
just half a teaspoon. And then icing sugar. And then you just give that a mix.
Just, if you're wearing black, just give yourself a wipe down.
Thank you. Lucky there's one we made earlier, so you don't have to worry about this.
What was more intimidating, this crowd or Paul Hollywood?
Oh, Paul Hollywood. Yeah.
There you go.
I'd
All of
rather
you
do this
put
every day.
together.
Yeah. He's not scary. I think when you're there and they're judging you,
Yeah.
it's like you put all your heart and soul into this tiny little bake, and then he comes and says, "Don't like it."
He had a soft spot for you by the end of it, though, definitely.
Really?
One of
Did you
my
see that? I didn't see it.
Did you
No,
see it?
I didn't see it. Did you? I didn't.
Yeah, that last episode where he said, "Happy Nadiya," and you just looked up and went, "Happy Paul."
Oh, I think I'd come out of my shell by that point, and then I was starting to get really cocky. So you've got that's creamed together nicely. I would do it for a little bit longer. And then we add our fluff.
Spoon.
Yeah, I'll have a spoon. Thank you.
So just a nice big spoonful.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. I promise you, this is a winner. This recipe I can't even get to this stage without somebody eating.
Normally
bits
by
of
now
it.
would these have been pinched.
Yeah, they'll have been pinched by now, so it works. We'll let that mix. But in the meantime, what you do is once you've done that, you stick it into a bowl and then leave it in the fridge for half an hour, because it is quite a runny mixture when you're finished with it. So in order for you to be able to pipe it, you need to get it back in the fridge and get the butter in the cream set again. And then I would just put it in a piping bag and then straight into the fridge. So I have got some in a piping bag ready to go.
So does this need to be a particular shape, pattern, or
No.
is it just right in
I'm
there?
really not displaying my piping skills here. And then you
this one?
stick that one on top. That's it. And then just if you leave them there. Can you see I'm doing my face? My stressed out face. Oh my God.
We didn't notice you do that at all on the bake-off.
Did you
I don't
not?
think. No.
Like seriously, this is my really stressed out face.
Who loved Nadia's facial expressions on the bake-off? Some people dubbed it as the best part of the bake-off.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they watching the same show? Because that wasn't the best part. The best part was that lion. Remember that bread lion face? That was, for me, that was epic.
Your chocolate peacock, though.
It was all right. It was all right.
And didn't your daughter forgot that you'd won?
Yeah. So she was there at the tea party with Paul Hollywood saying to her, "Your mum just won the Bake Off 2015," those exact words, and she still forgot. I was like, kids, what are their priorities, honestly? It's like she just did not remember, and I remember watching it every week, and she would sit there and like stuck to her granddad's leg saying, "Oh, I hope my mummy makes it through." And I'm looking at her thinking, I won! Like, what is wrong with you? Why do you not remember that? It just didn't make sense. I was really annoyed with her, actually. I was like, how can you forget something like that?
And also, didn't they, because you told, obviously they had to lie for, what was it, 3 months or something?
Yeah.
And then you've obviously told them since lying isn't very good, children, but they're sort of like, well, mummy, you made us lie.
Well, yeah. And we're working on that. I can pay for therapy now, so we're working on it, yeah. So now we fill them. We dip the edges into toasted coconut.
What about your husband? Can he bake, or is he the tester?
He's the tester, definitely. He does not bake. He cannot bake to save his life. But he comes from a family where my father-in-law cooks and everything, but I don't think he's ever had an interest in cooking or baking. So, no, he is just the chief taster in our house.
Yeah.
He has to run 7 miles every day just to keep that cake off. And then let's get some icing sugar. Right, and that is your coconut and cardamom Whoopie Pies.
That's it for part one of the bucket list, but don't go anywhere because after the break we've got more questions for Nadiya and I'm going to be helping her make some cheese and sun-dried tomato biscuits. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay, 3, 2.
Hi and welcome back to the bucket list with me, Beth Krista Wilson. You join us for this special episode with Nadiya Hussain, the Great British Bake Off winner of 2015. Before the break we were helping her, or I was trying to help her anyway, with one of her recipes, and we stuck around to see her make her cheese and sun-dried tomato biscuits. So we've had people sending in questions.
Yep.
The first one, when did you apply for the Bake Off and what was the selection process?
I applied this time last year.
Okay.
So it was a couple of weeks ago, last weekend of November that I applied. And from start to finish, to the point where I knew that I'd got in, it was about 4.5 months.
And then how much interval? Is it filmed consecutive weekends or is it sort of every fortnight or every few weeks?
It's filmed every weekend, and so you've got 5 days in between to practice your bakes, which is, I tell you now, is not a lot of time. It is not.
Well, one thing people wanted to know was, why do they get you to wear the same clothes on both days, or is it just one really, really long day?
Because they like us to smell. It's horrible. So I think it's just a thing with the viewers. They just like us to be wearing the same clothes throughout the whole show. But it is filmed over 2 days, so we did have to wear the same clothes. There was a lot of going back to the hotel and washing armpits, radiator.
Well, somebody said, do the outfits get laundered in between?
No,
They don't?
There's no time. You're finished at like 9 o'clock. You go home, you just barely eat, barely sleep, and then you do your own laundering in the sink.
The glamorous world of TV.
Yes.
Sort of a technical question. Somebody baked gingerbread stars the other day. They spread out a lot when they baked. Is there a way to help them keep their shape?
Right. I found that same problem when I was making my biscuit box for week 3, I think it was. So with the dough, I always chill the dough in the freezer. And when I've cut the shapes out, I always take the shapes, stick them on a baking sheet, and stick them in the freezer for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So by freezing them, you stop them from spreading out too much.
Right.
So, I mean, I can sometimes freeze them overnight and then just take them straight out of the freezer and then just bake them straight away.
And that'll
stop the shape from spreading too much.
Okay. Cheese and sun-dried tomato biscuits.
Yes, cheese and sun-dried tomato biscuits. These are fancy looking, but very easy and really go nice with more cheese. So we are going to make the biscuit base first. So we've got some plain flour. And so this should resemble breadcrumbs. You add the cheese, a pinch of salt, the sun-dried tomato paste. You separate an egg. I shouldn't make this look so difficult. It really isn't. You keep the egg white back for the outside of the biscuit, which I'll show you later. And then you just use the egg yolk to bind the biscuit dough together. Right, and so it should all just come together. And this is the point where you should take your wedding ring off because you're going to get everything in it now. The best way to do this, I find, is to do it between 2 sheets of cling film. Firstly, because it saves on washing up.
Always a bonus.
Always a bonus. And secondly, it's easier to roll the biscuit when you get to that point.
If you can find the edge.
Seriously,
They're laughing at the front there.
I know they are.
None of these for you guys.
Found it, look. Got it. Real life British problems. Right, so you roll it out to, I am going to say rectangle, but I have a feeling this is going to do whatever it wants.
Nadiya, we've already established you won the bake-off. Square, circle, no squares.
Right, and this is why. Look at this. I need that stool. I am going to get that stool. Where is that stool?
There's one.
Ah, get that stool. Let's use that stool. Oh my goodness
I feel like I'm
me.
baking with my mum now.
Right in my elbow. Okay, we're aiming for a rectangular shape, or this will do. We add some sun-dried tomatoes, chopped, and you spread that out. Let's put that bit on as well.
And then are we covering the whole thing with this?
Yep, we'll cover the whole thing. You spread the whole thing out. So this is why having the cling film underneath is really helpful, because now, when you go to roll it, it helps to roll your pastry. Just keep teasing it inwards using your cling film. Once you've rolled it all the way, just keep going. And you do that really chefy thing that you see on MasterChef. I always attempt this at home, like my one egg crack thing, like every now and again when I'm on my own. Right, so you do that really chefy thing, and then you twist it and get it really tight, and then you just either chill it for half an hour in the freezer or an hour in the fridge till it's completely solid. And here's one I made earlier. Real Blue Peter fashion. Right. The egg white that you saved from earlier, you brush that all over your biscuit. Right. So, you then roll it in the poppy seeds.
And then are these for flavour or texture or both?
This is more texture than it is flavour. But poppy seeds do taste great. But I think it adds just this extra texture, which is so tasty.
And the colour as well against the red tomatoes.
Exactly. My kids said, when I was doing this a couple of years ago, they said, why are you putting charcoal on the biscuit for, Mum? Children. Since then, their palates have improved, so they do know that it's poppy seeds and not charcoal.
So do the poppy seeds, they don't burn in the oven?
They don't burn. They do brown slightly, but they just add this lovely texture.
Here's some she made earlier.
Here's some I made earlier.
That's what they should look like.
That's what they should look like.
Okay, perfect.
Well done.
Can I have a taste of one of them?
Yeah, go ahead. You have to say they taste nice, by the way.
They're really nice. Thank you. But you're not going to eat any? You're not going to eat them?
No, I'm not eating any. I think I'm tasting some cheesecake.
We do, yeah. You need to taste
I'm holding out for the cheesecake.
So this cheesecake was made a little bit earlier, before you guys got here, by the guys from Smoked Barbecue.
Oh my God.
They were very keen for Nadiya to have a taste.
That weighs a ton.
The roles have been reversed now. You are officially the judge.
Thank you.
On our little bake-off.
Yeah. What is this? This is a honeycomb? No, sorry, it's a
hobnob base. It's got oats in the cheesecake bit.
Look at that.
And then a dark chocolate ganache on top.
That's the diet gone out the
I'm saying it like I
window.
made it. I didn't have anything to do with it. I ate a piece of chocolate and that was it.
Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. Oh my good God.
Does that get the bake-off winner approval?
We need to share this out. That is delicious.
She's nodding at the front. Yeah, we do.
That's actually really nice. Okay, bye guys, I'm off.
One quote I love from you, we've talked about earlier the fact that we're both absolutely tiny, and you said, I went into the tent as the smallest baker at 4'11", but I left feeling a giant. What advice would you give to people who've maybe lost the confidence like you had?
I think I'm not a massive risk taker, and I think going on Bake Off was a massive risk for me. And I think sometimes it's easy to be scared and not want to do things.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I want to do this and take that risk. And that's what I did. And I just think, don't be afraid to take risks. I mean, don't do anything crazy, go on MasterChef or whatever it is that you want to do. But don't do, just do it. If that's what, if it makes you, if you think it's going to make you happy, do it. Try it. It might not, but you know what? You tried anyway, so. Yeah.
And you might win Bake Off.
And you might win Bake Off.
At the end of the day. Finally, what is next for you? We know, sadly, you're leaving Leeds.
Yeah.
You're heading back to be closer to your parents and to be closer to London.
Yeah.
So where can we see more of you from now on?
Yeah, I'm already living in Milton Keynes at the moment, but I have still got roots here. My children were born here, my husband was born here, and my in-laws are here. So this is always going to be home to me. I've got some amazing friends. I've got lovely family here, and this is always going to be home for me, so I'll always be coming back, and I'll always be doing, if you'll still have me, then I'll still keep coming. So
will we have her? Yeah. Happy, Nadiya?
Happy. Thank you.
Thank you. What did you think of our mini bake-off here today?
I thought it was great, especially being from Leeds, and she represented really well.
When she got Star Baker the first time, I was like, oh, she's doing really well. She's definitely like getting better. And then once she won it the third time, I was like, yes.
I found it really inspirational.
And what have you brought with you for us to sign?
2 of the Great British Bake Off celebrations books.
And she's so genuine down to earth, yeah. I think that's the best thing about her, that she's just so open. She's normal.
Peacock was good.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, we like that one. Yeah.
And what did you think of her cooking today?
We're going to go and try it. Well, we wanted to try it, but we can't really afford to go and buy the ingredients. So.
Well, you've got the recipes, so maybe, you know, when your student loan comes in.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I'm a cake baker myself, and I've got a business in it as well.
Right.
So that kind of inspired me to come here today.
What do you think of her in person?
Amazing. I think she's such a down-to-earth person, and she's real. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's real, and it's really nice, yeah.